I love printing. I love printing. I love it. I love printing. Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you back to another session of Printer to Printer Chat with me, Warren Werbitt, also known as the Print Whisper. I'll tell you more about the Print Whisper come beginning of September. Look online, check your social media. You'll see a little bit of a blast. Today, we are not going printer to printer. Today, we are going printer to mailing guy. I have with me the cloud guy, Scott Eganhouse. The cloud mailing guy, not the cloud guy. You're the cloud guy with a jacket like that. But exactly. we got Scott Eganhouse from TEC Mailing. He's with us today because I want to talk a little bit about mailing, postage, printers, doing, not doing, whatever. We'll get to that. But Scott, why don't you just take a couple seconds, a couple minutes, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I don't want anyone tuning out, Warren, so I'll make it seconds instead of minutes. But
thank God, thank you.
No, we're a solution provider for those who want to mail, and we're a little unique in the industry in the sense that we do all of our stuff in the cloud, and we also kind of take the concept of postage discounts a little bit further than most companies. I mean, we'll pre-sort mail and rate shop each piece of mail for commingle output for Pitney Bowes or for direct present, and that can lower postage a lot of times $8 per thousand. So there's just different ways we approach this to save people money in postage, and that's kind of where we sit in the space and help people at that and workflow and automation.
Okay, that would be the quickest introduction of a company that I've had in 50 interviews. Thank you. We're going to call it a day. Thanks.
I had a great time, Warren. We'll see you next week.
Okay, so first serious question. When somebody signs up with you and your company to buy your product, do they get a jacket like that?
They do not get a jacket like that. You get that's no. I'll just no.
Okay, well, I'm not going to buy your product, but can I get a jacket?
We'll get you in a jacket, Warren.
Okay, cool.
You're special though. That's the thing, I mean.
Okay, I accept that. Okay, so let's get into it. First thing that comes to mind is in the United States, I believe at the end of the month, there's a postage increase coming. Tell me a little bit about what's coming from what you know and your expertise, and tell me what you feel is going on out there or the rumblings, because I think there's a lot of nervous people.
Yeah, I mean, an increase is an understatement. This has been the biggest increase that anyone's in the industry has seen, I think, ever.
Sorry, what is the increase for those that aren't sure?
Well, it's the Postal Service, right? So there's no simple answer to an increase like X%. I mean, it spans all categories of mail and different increases, whether you're drop shipping, direct presenting, first class, standard, just about every parcel's been increased. There's increases on everything in the mail. There's only been one rate that's remained the same, and that's a parcel going into a DDU, which is kind of an esoteric implementation of the Postal Service. Not too many people even have the capacity to do that. So it's suffice to say, everyone will see an increase, everybody, and it'll be painful.
Yeah. So with that, with people knowing that's happening, do you think that for printers clients, no, let me rephrase that. It's not coming out properly. Do you think from the printers that you've spoken with that they have started to do a education information session for their clients to advise them, or is this going to be like a free for all? And no one knows anything and just going to be slinging things back and forth and nonsense?
Probably more of a free-for-all than anything. But, there's always going to be a group of people who are going to be proactive and ahead of this stuff. And it's going to affect the industry differently. I mean, there's certain, people price this stuff different in the industry. There's certain printers who guarantee a rate based off of, 3-digit sort scheme. I guess some of this stuff is going to be a little technical, but they would guarantee a rate, and they would take the gap of anything they save further and put that in their pocket. I think those people are going to have to. Okay, what's that face mean?
Because I never understand the one rate that people give people and try to play the plus minus on other stuff to average. It makes me nuts. I'm thinking even now I'm thinking when we're talking about free for all, I've been thinking through this pandemic, and with the increases coming on paper, supplies, and everything, this is the perfect opportunity for printers to realign themselves and get their pricing in order. And even as an industry, and I'm not talking about collusion, maybe a little, because the oil and gas companies do it and but the oil and gas companies do it and get away with it. Every corner, every gas station is the same price. How's that possible? But that's another conversation on another day. But now is the perfect opportunity for our industry to reset itself. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to resetting itself in regards to like guaranteeing a rate, that's not actually a bad strategy in my opinion. And I'll just give you an example. We had a printer we onboarded several years ago that uses that as a pricing strategy. They guaranteed the rate, their client knows what it's going to be. There's no kind of variability in that. But once they went onto our system, they saved over $1 million in postage versus their last cost savings strategy. And this is a big printer, right? Because I mean, we're talking fractions of cents to equal that $1 million. They pocketed that $1 million more, and that went right into their pocket. And it depends on what you do with data and how you want to manipulate it, right? If you're going to value enhance that, why not charge the client for that? They should be. It's a value add. They should be.
Okay, so maybe that client and I'm all for that if you could do it. But when I talk about the average printer, they're not capable of being smart enough. And I know they're all probably getting mad at me right now, but they don't have the people or the resources to manage something like that. So when they do it,
Warren, I'm just going to call bullshit on that. They are capable. It has more to do with willingness. It's willingness more than
fair enough.
They're not willing to put the time and effort in to figure out how to do that.
I'm going to change the word to willing and not capable, because we are technically all capable of doing anything we want. I guess I use that word because more often than not, a lot of printers are just they're not willing or they're lazy, which makes them not capable. So depending how you want to break it down, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes down to us, and some of the frustration I have with people not engaging with us. There's other fires. They feel like they've got this figured out, right? That part of my business is running fine. It's not on fire. I've got other crap I've got to tend to. I think that there's going to be a rude awakening at the end of this month, because no one understands what a rate increase means until they get the bill, and then they're like, oh, holy crap, that's what it means when a letter goes up 3 cents or a nickel. I mean, that compounded by volume ends up in, that's going to be millions of dollars in extra postage for people. You
were just at a mailing conference or event or something, correct?
I was at Inkjet Summit 2 weeks ago in Austin.
Okay, but just quickly, how was that?
Show last week.
How was the Inkjet Summit?
I was surprised by it. It's the first time we went. I love the format. I love the chance. At some of these trade shows, you know how it goes. I mean, everyone's waiting to talk to you. It's 2-second conversation. Some of those are bullshit, right? You just want to kind of say hi and whatever. And then you never really get a good dialogue with your prospect or client. At the Inkjet Summit, I mean, you got to sit down with those people for 15 minutes and really understand, okay, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? Show me your pain. Where does it hurt? That type of thing.
Okay, not enough with the Inkjet Summit. Let me ask you, what was the talk at the Inkjet Summit about the postage increases? Because they're all mailing people there, or a good part of them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. I mean, it really wasn't about postage until you engage someone in that topic.
Well, then it shoots up and explodes.
Yeah, and I mean, there's 2 different mindsets there, right? It's kind of like, we want to be reactive on this. The people who do really good with mail, Warren, that's what they sell. They sell their capabilities on mailing and how we're different, and how we rate shop these pieces. If someone's just going to pass along postage, like, that might not be the best option for you. Look at how we do it. We've got some tools that can kind of demonstrate that output right in front of the client, and you can do an A/B, and that's how they sell it. Because at the end of the day, it's how much can you reduce the cost of that postage. So some of those people are being really proactive, and the other ones are like, it's just dig a hole and put your head in the sand, and what's going to happen is going to happen, and we'll blame everything on the postal service, which it's probably going to likely be the case for all of us eventually. But I'm not sure that's a sound approach.
Well, I think when the increases come, everyone's pretty much in the same board. I'm going to go back to perfect opportunity to reset. The
Yeah,
way
I would
things
agree with that. Yep.
that
Well, listen, we had a conversation earlier, Warren. It had a lot with, how are you engaging with your clients, right? I mean, at the end of the day, this is a people business. I mean, there's people doing business with people, and you get a work product at
right.
the end of it. And I think it's just a furtherance of another reason to get in front of your client, another dialogue to have that shows, what you're capable of, and what you're willing to do to help those clients, and create some stickiness with them.
Oh, well, listen. I think the whole direct mail, sector today is kind of, you have to be in it. You have to do it. We've seen through the pandemic there the people not seeing people hunkered
Yeah.
down. The one thing I know is, even if you didn't go to your office sent you all your stuff because you needed to get what was going regularly. And as we go forward, we all like people, but with the way offices and companies are running, I think direct mail probably be one of the better ways to get people. Email's becoming a little less effective because there's so much of it. Listen, even texting. I don't even call my friends back sometimes because they're too far down on the text or the email when they reach out to me. And
Right.
I want to call them back. So then just think about all the businesses that are losing out, or people not replying or responding because of that. So yet when I get a piece of mail at home, even if it's a bill, it has my name on it, I open it up, right?
Well, of course,
But I'm
yeah,
looking
yeah.
forward to getting stuff in the mail. And I think a lot of people do. So with printers, have you seen an increase in demand demand for requests for information from your company?
We so I mean, this is a good time to have this conversation, because we just did get back from the Alpha Graphic show in San Diego, and I mean, believe it or not, there's AG has some new store. I mean, they've got new stores they're onboarding right now, and some of these people were buying these stores, in the midst of the pandemic. And the one thing that's nice about the peer-to-peer group and the franchise aspect of print is that it's peer driven, right? What are you doing? What are your higher margin items? All the stuff. And the resounding attitude in that group is that you got to be doing mail. There's two things you got to be doing. You got to be doing wide format. You got to be doing mail. And so it's interesting to see some of the people who've never done mail before, Warren. If never, their experience is putting that stamp on a letter and putting it in the mailbox. I mean, that's where they're starting from, right? And so there does seem to be some interest in it. I mean, brand new printers are getting into this stuff, and I think the ones
By the way,
that will win.
I think I heard the post office coming out with flavored stamps. People are licking is going to be coming back in, being popular again.
What's COVID taste like, Warren?
Oh, not very good. It's a little bland, actually.
Not sure if I like this concept or idea about the flavor.
Yeah. No, but we'll go back to the printers. And,
it's not April 1st, so I'm kind of wondering if you're fooling me on this one.
No, I am fooling you on that one. The Canada Post isn't doing no lick and taste for their stamps. But so let's go back to the printers and the engagement and the reaching out.
Sure.
So like, how hard is it? So printer reaches out to you or your competition, but I don't think you have any competition.
Yeah, we've got some people who claim to be competition. I would agree with that, though.
So somebody doesn't know mail and they come to you. How long? What's the process? What do you do? What do you talk to them about? Should they decide they want to? How long before they can make something happen? Like, give me the quick lowdown time.
Oh, kind of what that journey takes. What that journey takes, like from zero to kind of on mailing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, people do this differently, right? I mean, the one thing that we do and we encourage is getting the right people involved with the Postal Service is vital. I always recommend, and we have a list of every business development specialist at the Postal Service. So these people's job is to basically edify you on what the requirements are, introduce you to people within the network, tell you about programs that are going on, set you up your permits, and basically I would say be that puppy dog. I mean, these are people pleaser. They like to they're sales reps. They like to go out there and sell stuff, and they work for a pretty low pressure, organization, I think, to a certain extent. I probably get slapped by some of the postal rep friends I have for saying that. But, they're out there, trying to promote the postal service. And so what we do first and foremost is get those people engaged with the shops, and they'll actually go on site and have, sit down and have a 2 or 3 hour meeting with you if that's what's required to get you kind of boned up on that stuff. And then from there, kind of once you understand that, it's like, okay, what tools are you going to use to put that intelligent mail barcode and get the postage statement and the rest of that stuff? And that's where we would come in to fill that gap. But, with respect to time, I mean, how much effort do you want to put into it? I mean, we've got people who get going in a few days, and
Really?
oh yeah, it's not that complicated.
So,
You know what it is, Warren? It's getting the right team and assembling the right people involved to get you through that journey as quick as possible. And I think we do that better than anyone else.
my experience in print, whenever you're implementing any system or any change, it's always about the people on your team, right?
Yeah, well,
Period.
right.
Without the right people, you're going to pull. Well, I had an afro when I started in print, so pulled all my hair out along the way. But it's always about. But how complicated, or what are the problems that the average person has company when they get into mail?
So, you kind of want to proceed down this path with a little bit of caution, make sure you're doing things correctly. I think, a lot of it's just understanding the requirements. I mean, there's like, believe it or not, there's a concept of aspect ratio in mail. You can't send a square piece of mail from the USPS and get an automation discount. That's not something they allow you to do.
Right.
So there's an aspect ratio in there, and it's, it can be a rectangle and still get kind of rejected as well. It's just a matter of kind of where that is. So it's just kind of some of those little stupid, rules. And there's there's tools and things that you can have that you just have to be exposed to and say, hey, don't do that. Here's a bunch of templates that are free, by the way, from the Postal Service. You can get them down to your BMEU, make sure you pick them up. It's just kind of like all the tips and tricks and all that little stupid stuff that people tend to forget to tell people is kind of where they get tripped up. And that's part of the reason why we always get the Postal Service people involved right away. There's a tremendous amount of resources that the USPS has that people just simply don't know about. They have a team of people that are mail piece design experts. You can send that stuff over to them, get it approved, rejected, know what you're doing before you put it into manufacturing. Like, use that.
Well, that's what they're there for, to service
exactly
the customer, the printer.
Yeah, but most people are like, there's mail piece analysts out there, and it's like, yep. So you get a hold of them. That's that.
Well, I know here at Canada Post, very, very similar in that it's a big, government corporation run. But the people that I know within Canada Post, some of them, one person in particular, like, she goes out of her way to make sure that her clients understand the tools, the benefits, the options, the ways to do things. And I think her customers appreciate that. I think.
But here's the thing, Warren. What if you didn't know that person and they existed out there and they're just absent from your environment? I think that's, if I had one indictment of our kind of industry with respect to being a vendor to printers that happen to be in postal, are you engaging these people? Are you making sure the right people from the post office are engaged with those stores? And if you don't have that person in your environment, I mean, think of what a deficit that would be just getting right out of the gate if you're brand new to it.
Oh, I'm thinking anybody in mailing or any print company in mailing, the person at the company should have a friend at the post office, like, automatically.
I would agree with that. And, there's this thing called the BMEU in the US. It's your bulk mailing acceptance unit. When I do, occasionally I'll do speaking on kind of getting into this, Warren, and it's just like, the one thing I tell people is, don't start your relationship with the post office with the person whose responsibility is to reject your mailing, to reject your work product. Like, go to a sales rep first. They're not there to reject your stuff. They're there.
No, you go find the person at the post office who earns money on commission and sales.
Right. Yeah. Talk to that person.
Right.
They'll help you.
Who really just.
Yeah. I mean, it's the single biggest piece of advice, And what's funnier than how, Warren, is that came out because of an engagement we had with a group of printers, and it was kind of like, where's your pain? Where's your pain? Where's your pain? And that the ideation of having the Postal Service go out there and get those people was like that was created from that engagement. And I called up the vice president at the time of the Postal Service, who was in charge, Cliff, He's over at PB right now, but I asked him, I said, hey, I said, I want you to hang up the phone and act like you don't know anything about the Postal Service and try to find out who your business development specialist is. In 10 minutes, my phone rang. He's just like, Scott, what do you need? I said, I need a list of all the business development specialists because you guys can't, there's no way to find these people. You cannot find them. And it's a huge problem, in my opinion, with the Postal Service. But like a lot of shit, good luck fixing that. You almost have to just caveman it, as a vendor and recognize the problem and hop over it,
It'd be a good time to belong to a mailing association if you were smart.
Yeah, who does a good job at that in the U.S. is a guy by the name of Leo Raymond. He used to be at ID Alliance, has a company called Mailers Hub, and it's just it's all the updates from the Postal Service. He kind of
what's it called?
It's called Mailers Hub.
Mailers Hub.
Yep. Okay. Leo Raymond. He used to be with ID Alliance. He was their great guy, very knowledgeable about the Postal Service, and has a great team of people that can kind of help. He took over the ID Alliance certifications for the Postal Service. So if you want those certifications, they're pretty much rendered through Mailers.
But is that what Mailer Hub does? Certifications or?
Yeah, they do certifications, training, keeps you abreast of any postal changes. Great organization. It's subscription based. You pay a small fee and you get all those updates, and then you have a help desk you can call if you need, if you want to go direct.
And how much could he charge? I mean, even if he charges $200 a month, which he probably doesn't, it's maybe he does. I don't know, but whatever it is, I would pay in a minute to have access to someone who knows more than me. Just the time.
That's just about you go broke, Warren. Think about how many people.
By the way, I am broke. That's besides the point. But that's if. That was the if. So I have another question. You deal with a lot of printers, obviously.
We do.
All the printers that you deal with do their own direct mail for their own company?
Yeah, I have well, I can't answer that question because I wouldn't really know from all of them. But I have a guy that actually. He does a lot of small mailings, and if he can't get the threshold to get the discount for a pre-sort, the automation discount, he just adds in for his own business. I need 75 pieces, add them into the mailing, and then.
By the way, that guy, later you'll give me his name. I want to talk to him. That's an ingenious idea. Cost you nothing, actually.
Well, you know what his ingenious idea was, Warren? Was to not have a single touch point on mail until the stuff's getting trade. So he's got a tool, it's built with our API, but he's got a tool that it's all CRM based. And by the way, this is the future of mail, in my opinion. You've got a storefront, you've got a bunch of assets in there, postcards, and I'll just use a realtor as an example. Just listed, just sold, open house, those things that they tend to communicate with postcards on. What his tool does is it's plugged into Zapier. So it's got a hook into their CRM for the real estate agent. And every single time that agent says, I just listed a house, it basically pulls up a radius of all the data that's in that area, puts it into a mail merge, mail merges it onto the document for that specific event. And then and then he runs an end of day process. So every single time all those CRM clicks get triggered, he's got a mailing, several thousand pieces every single day, not a single touch point, and highly targeted with good returns because they're so specific to those things. And the thing with that, Warren, is that back to the thing I was saying before, he adds pieces on if you can't get that threshold. Doesn't really have to worry about that anymore because there's enough CRM just going on.
Yeah, no, but I just think adding on to top it off is amazing. So the reason I asked that question about printers and direct mail is because I have been suggesting always that we as print owners should be using all the tools available to us that we want to sell in our own house. And then you white paper it, follow it, case study it, call it whatever you want, but then you have real stuff to talk about because you've invested your own money and time in it, and it gets easier to sell. On top of that, to all these print companies, I mean, you all have reps But we all know that you need the direct mail to reach more customers right away. You do one mailing every month for 5,000 addresses.
Yeah.
Even if you do nothing in follow-up, you're going to get some calls in a return. It's going to pay for itself. Throw in some calls, some follow-up and whatnot, and you got a whole new business. And I guess I'm just amazed at how many people are not doing that.
Why are you amazed by that? I mean,
because it's so simple, it's so easy, and it's our bread and butter. Right?
Yeah, you know what's funny is, you know, a lot of it's just like, what? I'm not paying that kind of money to have that tool. Are you crazy? And it's just like, it's literally a money machine.
No, but you're going to pay 50, 60 grand to have some dumbass sales rep giving you bullshit stories about who he called and who he saw and who he hung up on him and who was there and who's calling back. Right? I mean, there's no secrets.
Where are you finding sales reps for 60 grand?
Just
They want more than that.
No. That's just to start. That's the start at the talk before they get in. Then there's the other stuff. But it's just kind of crazy that we have these tools and that more people are not using them on a regular basis.
Yeah. That's so the guy I mentioned, his name's Dave Carroll. He's with Dope Marketing. And
okay, we've spoken with Dave.
Yeah, he'd be a good person to interview. Just that he's new to print, right? I mean,
perfect. He's not scorched or you know, ruined.
Well, I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying too new.
He's definitely scorched now. Those things.
Well, you quickly, but not like the 15, 20-year-old veterans.
Right, exactly.
Right. Cool. Okay, so you know what? We're gonna do this again. Because this is a pretty good topic that can go on, and mailing is never ending. It's only getting better. So I thank you. But so just any quick little wrap up that you want before we move on?
I don't know if it's getting to be a little bit late. I mean, that increase is coming very soon. But I think the more you can communicate with your clients and talk to them about, you know, the impending changes that are coming, and you know, it's still an effective means of communicating with greater returns because of the targeted nature of things these days. I mean, I think it's still going to be a winning strategy. It's just how you manage that client relationship with regards to the increase.
Still cheaper than having someone visit the office to find out there's no reason to be there.
Yeah, right? Don't go to our office. It's a little dark right now.
No, I'm not saying yours, but in general, right? But yeah, no, absolutely. It's cool. Okay, I'm going to have to do, the Print Whisperer is going to have to do some mailing soon. So I'll have to tap into you for your software.
Be happy to help you, Warren.
Actually, I'm going to do the printing and send it to you, and you could mail it somehow easier.
How about we use Dave's tool, and I'll give you a print ready file. It's all barcoded and ready to go.
Done. I just got to find the list, but we'll save lists for another conversation.
No, his tool does that too.
Does that too? Okay, so we're gonna.
Yeah, well, it's all data integrated. I mean, he's a data. That's the thing that's funny about Dave's stuff. He's a data guy. You know, it's when you think about kind of what goes on in the mail, there's the data aspect of it, which is, you know, really, you know, that and the message drives return, right? So it's, you know, having someone like him come into the industry that understands data has been a little bit of a gift, because it's altered the way I think some of the printers are going to view kind of doing some of the stuff in the future.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to cut you off.
All right, Warren.
I look forward to getting a jacket. I'll even send you a pink shirt. And
you want to do the switcheroo? Okay, we can do that next time.
Well, it's got to be what's good for one is good for the other. Just make
there you go.
Make sure I get the right size. I'm
kidding.
And thank you. And thank you for joining me this morning.
We'll see you at a show soon. I'm dying to get out.
I'm dying to get to a show. Actually, the truth is, beginning of September, the first show I'm probably going to go to is a Dead & Company show in Boston. But
well, that counts.
Absolutely, it'll be a gathering of the minds. It'll be wonderful. To everybody who tuned in, thank you. To everyone who didn't tune in, please tune in next time. Warren Werbitt, what they think. I love print, and don't forget the Print Whisper. See you back next time.